first
Yeah,
and last
Chris
name?
Schock, S-C-H-O-C-K,
And then your
Director of Development.
Okay, awesome. And then if you just want to look in the middle, I guess.
Oh, sure.
So basically, what happened tonight is a group of nonprofit organizations in the city has come forward to the city and shown interest in buying the mall. Is that how I understand it? Or
Yeah,
temporarily buying it.
A consortium of philanthropic organizations, came together to successfully bid to buy the mall from Rialto Capital Services, which is the lender loan servicer that owns the mall at the moment. They were concerned that, it would likely sell to an out-of-state investor who would not be interested really in redeveloping the mall and really doing what's necessary to make it successful, either from a current management perspective or a future management perspective. So that group came together, with a series of local foundations and the Chamber Foundation, to put together a proposal to the current owner, and that was accepted. And so there were 5 proposals that were made, only one locally, this group or this consortium. And then, obviously any real proposer would likely have to come to the city just because of our role in the mall itself. And so they've come tonight with their request, for a forgivable loan and for some other changes, obviously, to the ground lease and the parking and the other payments due on the mall while it's in redevelopment.
Okay. So that loan or the forgivable loan, it'll be paid back in increments based on how the individual stores or shops in the mall are redeveloped then?
Yeah, I think it's important for folks to know that the city will be in the primary position as the lender, so we'll have a first position on the mortgage of the mall with our $1 million loan, and we will forgive portions of that loan only based on an approved plan, because tonight they were able to kind of reiterate some of the plan ideas that we've already done, but they don't have a specific project ready to go, obviously, and the mall is selling, so they said they need time, obviously, to develop a specific plan. So when those project plans come forward, then the city will consider forgiving a portion of that loan as it's redeveloped, and obviously that will be when those parcels or pieces of the mall are sold to to new developers. So we could see, for example, the JCPenney space being repositioned into a different use, the Sears anchor being repositioned into a different use, and even sections over time of the main line of mall of itself being repositioned, and as they're sold to developers or to other for-profit organizations or whoever, then it will go back, obviously, go back on the tax roll and and our loan forgiven.
So with the $1 million loan, can you explain the city's side of financing in layman's terms? From what I understand, it sounds like it may be coming from 2 different TID districts that don't technically cover them all, but can cover it?
Yeah, I guess, so we already borrowed a significant amount of money for the mall originally. I think folks know that, we're considering various different proposals at the mall previously, far more expensive proposals, frankly. So, this opportunity allows the city to kind of work within the constructs of the TIF districts that are there at the moment and use money that we've already borrowed. So there's no additional city debt and there's no additional borrowing required for this project because we're already using funds that we've already borrowed that were scheduled for the mall but not used on the mall because projects didn't come to fruition. Folks remember the potential relocation of Yonkers to Penny's, the potential cinema project, which also was going to involve city participation. So those projects obviously didn't come together, so there's money to be used for the acquisition. And, I think it's great news that, the mall can be in local control for what would really be a relatively inexpensive amount of money in the grand scheme of things. To buy that amount of real estate, is going to be an advantage for this group. And it's really nice that it's going to be in nonprofit hands. It will be in the in the fund's hands, and their goal is not obviously to take profits or to to maximize their own return, but to ensure that whatever is decided at the mall fits the plan and fits the long-term needs of the community. And obviously we have a lot of trust in those foundations because they have a long track record of supporting development in the city, so we're glad to work with them. As the mayor has said many times, the city was not interested in buying the mall, and and we're glad that other parties in the community have stepped forward and said, we think it's important. You heard the chamber director tonight really speak, I think, eloquently about how important it is for the business community that the mall, doesn't sit there and continue to wallow. And so, a lot of those business leaders have signed a petition that was submitted to the, city council tonight and said, look, we need to act quickly, and we think it's sensible to acquire the property and make sure that it's in a fund that cares about the community, but we do want to see it repositioned as fast as possible. So that fund is not interested in holding the property long. They're going to be aggressive in trying to stabilize the current mall operations and then sell pieces off that could be redeveloped.
So with that $1 million loan, how does that affect Wausau taxpayers? Will they see anything from it?
No, of course not. Yeah, so the borrowing was done for the TIF district, so it does not affect the levy. It does not affect Wausau taxpayers up front. But our goal, of course, is to reposition the property so that it does add taxable value in the long term. Because obviously I think everyone knows it's been losing value, and it's been losing stores, obviously, and it's not what it once was. So it needs to be turned around. Frankly, any developer who would buy it would likely need to come to the city and ask for concessions and incentives to make their deal work. I think it's positive that the folks we're working with are philanthropic organizations that care about the community and won't be receiving a profit. They're going to want to see the uses be appropriate for the community.
What are a few of the nonprofits that are a part of this LLC?
Sure. So two of the main foundations that were present tonight was the Judd S. Alexander Foundation and the Linda and Dwight Davis Foundation. Both of them have been very active in downtown development. The city has been appreciative of their support on a variety of projects. They talked about some of them tonight, about their long track record of investing in downtown. And obviously we have a lot of confidence that those foundations, as the backers of the fund and as the majority investors in this fund, will want to see uses come out of the mall that really, set a long-term goal or long-term view to downtown, which is obviously a real blessing for all of us, and we're excited to see that. We have, tonight, obviously the committee recommended allocating some, city resources as well, which I think is fair, in a way of working with those foundations to see it move forward.
Okay. So then the next step would be for this to go before a full vote next month at October City Council meeting?
Yeah, so we haven't set the date yet. There might be a special council meeting called later this month or early in October. We're fluid on the process of the closing. We know that just past Thursday night, this group was aware of their acceptance of the offer. So you remember at the ED committee on Tuesday, we had updated to say something might be coming because we're aware of the negotiations ongoing. And we were aware that Rialto had received bids and had, gone back and things like that. So we knew something was coming. We moved tonight, to move as quick as possible because we know that that's the issue. But we also, the mayor is very sensitive to ensure that this is, considered thoughtfully and through, all the proper channels. So it'll be a couple weeks at least before, the council takes its action, so, people can give thought to it and those kind of things, contact their elected officials on the matter.
So then will the LLC from Wausau, will they then sell them all to another group once everything's redeveloped, or will they?
Yeah, I think I could see that. I could likely see, again, it's not, totally set in stone, but I could see that they would put together a series of plans and then sell pieces and parts to entities to implement those plans. So, perhaps they sell a portion to a developer to do housing. Perhaps they sell a portion to do entertainment. Perhaps they sell a portion to do office or some other kind of use. And so I think that will be kind of ferreted out through the plan. The plan does need to be approved, and we'll come back to, to the city. Like I said, we have general plans and good ideas, but they'll come back with a specific site-specific plan, what's going to be there, and we'll consider that at that time for something that the city can get around, get excited about. I know that they'd love to share, great plans and visions already, but there isn't. Obviously, they don't have the time to secure all that process, but that's what they're going to focus on doing.